All right, so you got the alumni game out of the way, and tonight returning to the court, Southern Oregon. I know last week you said that Southern Oregon has a pretty good team. They expect a lot out of their squad, as you do. But what do you like to accomplish tonight here at Lumberjack Arena?
Tonight, Lumberjack Arena, we're in competition with the World Series, but we expect some good fan base out there and hopefully put on a good exhibition of basketball to get our feet wet and get ourselves ready for this weekend's trip to New York City and playing St. John's. So it's a great test early on. It's a good dress rehearsal. Certainly, they'll bring a lot of competition. They've got a premier player in Thompson, and number 35 out there. He's a very crafty player, 6'8", 235, and has a legitimate scorer. He's a scorer over the last 4 years in the program. He's picked preseason MVP in the conference. He's a proven product. Just containing him will be the goal tonight.
After having the alumni game, it's a sample size for this Jacks team, but what have you learned so far?
The alumni game was fantastic. People that got to see that game came out and watched them. Kyle Baxter was fantastic, Brandon Sperling, but Zach Tiedemann stole the show. He was absolutely amazing, and some of his passes to Kevin Adkins for high-flying dunks were something special to see. Our guys learned how to play against competition at that level, and the way our alumni plays together is what we're striving for, and hopefully we learned a lesson there. No, we lost by a few, but it was definitely a good game.
The big trip to New York this week, obviously, I'm sure you guys have been doing some sightseeing and that sort of thing, but it is a business trip, and you guys are facing a Division I opponent. There's players last year got to experience that. There's players going to experience it for the first time. So just how, as coaching staff and players, how are you handling this trip this week?
This is a real important trip. It's our first trip of the year. It's all about how we conduct ourselves and the image we want to portray on the road. How disciplined are we in getting from van to van, hotel to hotel, flights, shoot around, practice times, getting the game, preparing, and then obviously withstanding hostile environments. And I'm sure St. John's will provide that. It will be on ESPN3, and so we'll have the distraction of big-time media in New York City, and so we'll get a full dosage of everything that goes along with it.
You're used to big-time media here, right?
That's right.
What do you think? You always want to hear about the Division II team knocking off the one team. Past years, you guys even done that. St. John's, a very good team. But what do you guys want to accomplish in this game with your team?
Well, after last year's game with St. John's, was certainly a humbling experience. We want to go in there and compete. We want to go in there and represent not only our institution, Humboldt State University, but the CC2A. Because our teams in the CC2A are looking at us as a barometer on how we play in the big time this early in the year. So we want to be able to represent well and compete. But certainly in the locker room before the game, we'll talk in terms of how big will it be when we upset this team. How big a news shock we could shock the world, in beating St. John's at St. John's. When a Division II does that, and there's been plenty of in history of these type of games where you go in and you catch a team off guard early in the year.
How can you use this game as a recruiting tool? Obviously, there's going to be future basketball players in high school or younger that are going to turn on ESPN. They're going to see HSU. Maybe people that don't know about HSU basketball. People on the East Coast. So how do you guys use this also as a recruiting tool?
Absolutely. We will not only get exposure through ESPN and how we play nationwide, worldwide, but to be able to capture that on film, to be able to take a camera on the road and obviously use that in our advantage for recruits. We've already used this game for the last 12 months, knowing that we were going to have the game in our recruiting efforts. Many of our players signed with Humboldt State, this freshman class that we have. That was a big carrot. That was a very big interest for them to go to New York City as a freshman and play in that game. And so we've already been using this as a recruiting tool.
All right, Coach, what's the biggest thing on your mind as you play Southern Oregon tonight?
Southern Oregon tonight is number 35. He's a premier player, and we certainly got to stop them. Southern Oregon is a fantastic basketball team, very well coached. Coach McDermott's been there for years and years, very seasoned team. They pass the ball extremely well, and they shoot it from behind the arc extremely well. So those are their strengths. There are two bigs that they play, the two 6'8" kids together. They are incredible passers. They can really move the basketball, whether they get touches in the post or on the perimeter, a lot of extra passes, a lot of sharing of the basketball, and these kids flat out can shoot it. And so they're dangerous.
Defensively, how do they play? How do you think you pass that?
Defensively, they're solid. I wouldn't say they have overextended pressure. I wouldn't say they're big-time shot blockers. They're not overly quick or athletic. However, they know their restraints, and they've been well coached, and so they'll play a secure, tough man-to-man defense.